Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Yes, it's me, DD, otherwise known as Graham Moore. You wonderful people. So there's a lot happened today. Right. Two of the respondents have sent me stuff. They didn't have to send it to me till the 27th. They've sent it at the same time as they've sent it to the High Court. But now it's in. I know that they've put that in. They can't change it. That's what it is, right? Unless they want to make an application to change something. I've just got to make sure everyone understands this, right? There is only one way that you can stand up, and that's to actually do it, right? I am going to tell everyone now that, and I'm going to show you on the screen, right? I know that it's not many people tuned in at the moment, but let me show this on the screen because I think it's important, right? Just so you know, they are aiming to bankrupt me. Part one costs incurred to the 19th of June. This is one respondent. There's four respondents, right? Four respondents. This is one respondent, the first respondent, right? Time and cost, this is just up to the 19th of June, £33,559.40. Disbursements, which means sending a letter. So they've done the work on the letter, posting the letter and the paper and putting it in an envelope is disbursements. That's £9,510.70. Total incurred costs so far, part one, £43,070.10. Right. Part two, costs incurred from the 20th of June, right? So today, up to and including the hearing of the first respondent's application to strike out. That's on the 25th of July. This is why it's so important that you come along on the 25th of July, because these people are literally saying you have the audacity to go against the election return and accuse us of interfering with an election and present your right to freedom of elections. What we're going to do is bankrupt you, right? And what that means is once you're bankrupt, you can never stand in an election again, right? Time costs £18,649. Dispersants, £5,603. And total estimated cost part two. And this is not the trial. This is not the trial in Runcorn, right? And for anyone arguing about whether it's a trial or tribunal, the High Court call it a trial. So at the moment, I'm calling it a trial. So it's an election hearing, a trial in Runcorn and Helsby. This does not include that, right? And currently the costs estimated at £71,628.43 from one respondent. There are four respondents. If you round each one of them up to 100 grand, you got 400 grand. The hearing, which they're telling me I've got to pay for, everything, right, is going to be somewhere in the region of £500,000, right? And they do that to stop you getting your rights heard in a common law constitutional court at the High Court. They stop the common man claiming his right, and they do it through, one, financially penalising them, and the second, most importantly, they do it quo warranto to remove you from the election process so they, meaning the Crown servants who are controlling this, control Parliament. That is the communist element that's going on in this country. So are you all clear, right? I don't take my financial, I'm not well off, right? But I believe in what I'm doing, right? There ain't many people that would stand up, right? So if you owned your own house, I'm asking you a question, and they said to you, we're going to hit you with a bill for £1 million and force you into selling your house if you dare put a petition into us, right? That's what they're saying. So what happens? No one does. or very rarely does, unless they're one of the bigger parties and they can afford these bills, right, for various reasons, right, and they can afford to do this. No one else can. You are being stripped naked of any right you ever had as an English woman or an English man, right? And I want to make it clear to everyone listening to this, it's the fucking British that did that to you. Do you understand that? For all them veterans out there who are being prosecuted by the British establishment, the fascists and the communists that are running this whole regime, the oligarch. Now you're seeing in front of your fucking own eyes what these people do, right? Now, I don't consider I've got any much more bottle than anyone else, right? I do actually regard, I don't want to be made bankrupt, right? But anyone out there that's saying, well, what can we do? That's why I've said we need to share the GoFundMe, and it ain't 10 grand, right? I try to tell people that. We don't know exactly what that bill's going to be. But it does appear to me that there's a lot of people out there who then say, oh, fuck that, right? And they will let them get away with it. And that's exactly why that Parliament has just now made, in their eyes, killing blue-eyed blonde babies legal. They are laughing at you, right? And the only people standing up against it are us, constitutionalists. That's it. So has everyone got the message? So, you're now seeing what they're doing. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Well, I've no doubt there's plenty of people at the beach and doing whatever, or down a pub or whatever. What do? Still here. Still doing this, right? But we will see in this case. I've got a strong opinion on this, right? If you take away the rule of law and you take away the ballot box, which is what they've done by cheating, right? And they're permanently cheating. That's all they do, right? If you take away them two things, what have you got left? That's the question to the audience. If you take away the ballot box and you take away the rule of law, what have you got left? That's it. And people need to know how bad it's going to get, right? But for me, it's going to get a lot worse. So I have to put every bit of fucking effort in. The bit I don't like is that I 100% believe that these judges are communist, right? And their intention is to bankrupt you. There is no justice in this country. There is a constitution, but they use all their rules and regulations to stop, via administrative law, to stop you getting to the law of the land. That's what they do. And running around saying, I'm a free man, right, don't help anyone. Running around, fighting fucking bailiffs, evicting people from houses, don't help no one. Unless you turn the gas off at the main, you have got fires all over this country, and the only people stopping it constitutionally are us. No one else. That's it. What do you think of that little? What do you think of their bill so far? Don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to hit the share button, and don't forget to subscribe, because they are absolutely trying let's have a look and see if I can see what this one says. They're absolutely trying to bankroll me. Leaders accuse MP of stoking fear with inaccurate claims. Who's this? Since taking office after her success in May, Form has made a series of allegations. What are the allegations she's made? Let's have a quick look and see if I can bring that up. By the way, the I think I can't. Is it called a run call? Never. There's a. Let me have a look. Someone has presented. Someone has actually started to report on this, although they haven't obviously put our petition in a good light because they're probably communists. Single mothers of three. Nicola is actually a Hollywood actress. Oh yeah, did you see that? Starmer actually done a staged bullshit interview in his own kitchen and said he was talking to a mother of three, single mother of three, in her kitchen, and it was his kitchen, and she's an actress. They're literally taking a piss out of you. You couldn't get any worse. It's just the whole thing is a massive con. Right, so don't forget, hit the like button. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get it out there to as many people as possible. But I've basically just told you what they're hitting us with. So let me have a quick look and see if I can have a quick look at this. What am I looking for? My jaw still aches, by the way. So far, I haven't sent this out yet. I'll have to send this out. Let's see if I can send that out. Let's post this out. If I lose, right? Let me have a look. Let's see that and put that out there just to make sure people are aware. There are. I'll put that out there so everyone can come and have a watch of that. Right. Let's see if anyone else is coming out there. Hi guys, evening. Hello to everyone out there. You're all watching that. He must be an actor. He can't be that dumb. Susan, evening. Chrissy, let's have a look. I was going to look at something for you and I forgot what it was. I haven't got what I need on the screen. Let me go for one other thing. Let's have a look at that. I can't have a look at that yet. I wish I knew how to use eBay. I buy stuff on eBay. I've just got to sell something on eBay. And I've got to go through all this process and give them my date of birth and all sorts of shit. When did it ever do all that? That 3-seater leather seat, the 2-seater settee and the other one. I've just put it on eBay. It's too good to throw away, but I'll see if I can claw something back. Not a lot, by the way. I'm only putting it up for whatever. So what do you think of the cost so far, anyway? It's going to be an estimated 1 million. Tell me what you think of that, right? And tell me what your opinion is. I mean, again, I've just shown it. How they can charge nine grand for sending out fucking a few letters. Someone's taking a piss out of someone here, right? And they're doing everything to shut down a claim of right. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's absolutely disgusting what they're trying to do or attempt to do. The only thing with me is I won't be fucking bullied. But if the judges are crooked, I'll get hit so badly. Most people wouldn't do this. They just wouldn't do it, right? And that's how they get away with it. And that's how the communists worked, and that's how they've took over. But you're eventually, in a very short span of time, I may add, going to be gulag, because that's what they're already doing that, right? Anyone who starts to voice opinions against them, they'll throw you in jail, right? But it's going to get a lot worse. A lot worse. And all these people out there, by the way, just to make sure, right, all cheering on reform. Nigel Farage didn't even go to that parliament and vote against them kids, them babies being killed, right? And if I remember rightly, Sarah Putin actually voted for the assisted dying bill, right? So you're now getting it at both ends, literally. You're getting newborn babies murdered, and then they're going to murder the elderly. That's exactly what the Marxists do. They do not want you to be surviving, and you are going to be exterminated. Let me have a look. So don't forget, sharing is caring. We need as much support as we can possibly get. Let's go and have a look at our fundraiser. Let me have a look and see if I can actually tick that over. So we so far have raised $2,045 on the fundraiser, and then I've had some funds come in into my own account to cover things, but nowhere near $1 million. So you'll know what's going to happen if I lose. Yeah, I'm going to be bankrupt and then fucked, right? So just to make sure you're all aware. And when I say bankrupt, that means that if you was to apply for electricity or gas anywhere, right, you have to have a key meter. No one will even allow you to have an account. So everything after that raises your costs, right? You have to have a key meter for your electric, right? That's what these people, when they bankrupt you, that's what they do. You cannot have any form of credit anywhere, right? And you can never stand in an election, any form of election, ever again, right? That's their intention, right? And that's how they get away with this. And people have allowed them to do it for years and years and years and not stood up against them. And that's how you ended up with 141 Fabians in Parliament. Why is that important? Because I'm going to tell you why it's important, right? And again, from this book, right, this fantastic book that Terry got me, Constitutional Law. That's the only bit I really look at, right? You've got the right to the protection of the law, it says in here, right? There is none. There is none, really. Whilst you have rights, the English have rights. I can tell you now, and the British have rules. And the way in which they operate is they put their rules as administrative law in front of your rights. So you will never, ever get to the position of claiming a right. That's how they've took your rights away. Every single one of them. I see a judgment today about a guy having his firearms certificate taken off him. And the chief constable said to the judge, I want this heard in camera. And no one could listen to the hearing. It was just the chief constable speaking to the judge, and the judge allowed it, right? How is that justice? But just to make sure you're aware of this, right? Security in the civil service. Rules exist governing the use and custody of official documents and varying the degree of secrecy or confidentiality attributed to them. It is a breach of discipline for civil servants not to obey those rules. In addition, civil servants may be subjected to a purge procedure and a positive vetting procedure. The purge procedure is designed to prevent persons with communist or fascist associations being employed on work, the nature of which is vital to the security of the state. Well, that's what that says. So I'm asking you the question, how is it that there is 141 Fabians being elected to Parliament? Basically through cheating. Right? How is it, yet again, we've got a Fabian government, a Marxist government, right? The last one that we had was Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, and we went to war with Iraq on a lie, right? And the same thing is happening again now, right? Exactly the same thing. By the way, they're already sending our fighter jets, etc., out to Cyprus, ready to assist Israel, right? Israel is now, and again, I've said this months and months ago on the show about Cyprus. Cyprus has been taken over by Germany, in effect, and Israel is now sending all of its aircraft over to Cyprus, right, for protection. And all of this is being done in your name, right? So when this kicks off, and there's potential it can, if anyone strikes, there are things that I am considering in the background, right? And you might have to bear with me with my theory. Does anyone want to listen to my theory? Taffy Pat, I do not consent. Correct. Good evening to you, favourite frog, Sakek. Yeah, how you doing? Does anyone want to listen to my theory on what's going on, especially with Trump? Just thought I'd tell you my theory if you want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, I won't, because it's only a theory. I don't know what's actually going on. But I've got a different opinion to most people, as you might expect, because I'm like that. I just changed it to 100,000 and done it. It's automatically. So first goal was 26,000. Just changed it to 1 million and done it, and the automatic. So its first goal was 26,000. Okay, all right. And the reason, just to let everyone know, the reason why GoFundMe's are so bad is because the opposition will be looking at that and then say they can't afford our costs, and the judge could turn around and say we're going to have to pull the case then. Right? That's why GoFundMe's are not very good. Right? You don't have to. They'll look at that. Right? People don't see the angles that they're looking at. Right? All I'm saying is when you've got, I'm grateful for the £2,000 being raised there, right? But they'll be looking at it and going, they ain't got the money, right? And they'll go to court and they'll show that GoFundMe, right? And they'll say, look, this is what it says, and they've only raised £2,000, right? Don't forget, there's a complete news blackout on this, right? They're never going to allow you to raise that money, right? Just to make sure everyone's aware. That's what's happening here. And these people who couldn't give a fuck because I'm all right, Jack, right? Them people, and I'm being honest with you, them people, the people who work for social services, the people who work doing these 5G contracts, the people working all that, I couldn't give a fuck about them, no, right? I could not give a fuck about them. In my opinion of them people, you would fucking shoot your fucking neighbour for your fucking pension, right? That's how bad you people are. You only give a fuck about yourself, right? That's it. It's lucky in life I don't give a fuck anymore, right? Sorry for the language, but I've seen these people operate, right? Oh, I've only got 3 years for my pension. I can't, so I don't. I've got to keep my mouth shut. I nearly said see you next Tuesday, right? Because that's what these people are. That is exactly what they are, right? It's disgusting. Let me just go and have a look and see what I can see. Right? By the way, Tracy, I'm not having a go at you. I'm just telling you that's it's almost laughable. Because they will never allow us to raise the money. Majorly, let me just tell you what I think is going on, right, with Israel. This may sound odd to a lot of people, but do you remember when Q said we're going to leave Israel to last? I was thinking to myself, listen, I've got a personal instinct with Trump that he is one of God's people, that he knows exactly who did and who did what with 9/11 and various other instances, right? He knows exactly what's going on. I consider that if you want to, he's just said, right, I'm making a decision on what we should be doing with Israel within 2 weeks. Right? Israel then decides that it's going to attack Iran and drag America into that war and drag us all into that war. Right? And I think that Trump is holding off and he's allowing. Right? And there is a big picture. There's a bigger picture. This just strategically that no one's talking about, right? Which I'm going to tell you in a couple of minutes, right? And don't get worried about it. Listen, there's nothing we can do. Listen, if people are not going to stand up about bent voting and their rights, they're not even bothered if they go up in a flash and get incinerated in a fucking nuclear war. They're not interested. All the big wobs, all the people who actually think they're worthy of this world can go down in deep underground bases. You haven't got access to that, right? You're just a normal every person. You're just going to fry, right? Hopefully it'll be quick if it happens. But this is what I think's happening. I think Trump is allowing Israel to get a bloody nose in a big way, right? I think Trump is allowing Iran to attack back in retaliation. And I think that will continue. I think eventually what's going to happen is Iran is going to say, right, after they've absolutely caned Israel, right, strategically caned them, so much so, and there are other elements to this that people need to understand, right? If America goes in and puts troops on the ground, starts firing missiles, putting planes in to destroy Iran, you will ignite Turkey. You will align Turkey, China, and Russia against the US directly, right? And by the way, the Jews don't care. Most of them are sitting in fucking deep underground bunkers, right? Until someone fills them in. So I think Trump is part of this bigger thing that they all know what's going on, right? It's been estimated that 1/3 of Tel Aviv has been destroyed, right? I can see this being a lot worse. I can see this where half of Tel Aviv, the only place that won't get it is Jerusalem. I can see Iran destroying Tel Aviv, destroying Haifa, is it? Where they grow oranges. I can see that being allowed to happen, and the reason is because Trump knows that they was a big part of 9/11. They was a big part of the open borders policies. They are a big part of trying to destroy America. The thing about who these people are in the background is they always jump to the next empire, and it ain't Russia. is China. If America was to attack Iran and the Straits of Hormuz, where that little tiny little bit where all 30% of the oil has to go through, that seriously affects China. It's in China's interest, big interest, to assist their largest energy supplier. Right? It's in their strategic interest to do that. Trump knows that, right? So if the big player out there is Israel, and it is, right? You've only got to look at our Supreme Court and our judiciary and our legal profession, right? The majority of them people are Jews, and the majority of them people taking your rights off them off you are Jewish, and now Islamic, right? They seek to destroy us, and they certainly seek to destroy England, right? For a number of reasons, by the way. They seek to destroy anyone who got them thrown out, or killed their financial mafia in the late 1200s, right? If you don't know the history of that, you should do, right? And by the way, our ancestors were not anti-Semitic, right? They was anti-organized crime, right? Because that's what they are. They are the ultimate mafia, all right? And it's not just them. There's other groups of people in other religions as well, other colours, right, that are dark personality that sit right at the top, and they have got no conscience. They are only about themselves. They are the psychopaths, the narcissists, the Machiavellians, and of course, sadists that enjoy it, causing pain and suffering all over the world, and especially to children. The type of offences we're now seeing against humanity, right, especially of the British Parliament, against the unborn, is the ultimate sin, right? The killing of innocents, the murder of innocents, which is what they've approved in that Parliament. So I believe we're going through a similar process what America has just been through, where they've shown the people this is who they are. This is who they really are. They are seeking to destroy you, right? And when it becomes apparent, and I believe it will, they're doing exactly the same. What did Ukraine do? Q, can the judge prove their bond? Just changed it to 1 million. Yeah. What did Ukraine do? Carried on behind Trump's back, so he flipped on them. Israel may commit false flag in US within 2 weeks. Trump will flip on Israel. British agents both in Iran and Israel cleaned up. Along those lines, maybe. I do think that. And does anyone remember when certain individuals that were to do with the, I forget what they called, did they call them the White Hats? There was a special name for them. And one of them geezers was MI6, and he went to Turkey. Next thing you know, someone threw him out a 7th floor window, right? Basically, he was an MI6 operative that was working with them people that were setting up and making big stories up, and they knew who they was. Do you remember when a journalist, an Arab journalist, and I believe it was in Turkey, might have been, but he might have gone to the Saudi Arabian embassy, something to do with his passport, and they cut him up with a sign shot. And you can actually hear him being cut up. And they promoted that, basically, because they're telling people, this is what we're going to do here, right? They are the most evil people. Getting back to who I think the people really are, I think there's a lot to be said for the Sabbatines, the Frankists, and the Dumas. And that's this group of people, if everyone realises back in 1666, Sabbatine Levy was the Jewish Messiah. He had well in excess of 1 million followers, right? And I'm talking about in 1666. He was regarded as the Jewish Messiah. And what he told people is that you get redemption through sin. He inverted everything, right? That is satanic. He inverted everything. And that's exactly what's going on at the moment. Khashoggi, that's it. Well done. Who's telling me this? Mark EB said, I'll tell you, you're a bright boy, you are, aren't you? When you go out with a bit of fish, I love fish. If I could eat lobster all day long, I would. I'll probably end up in Devon. I'm going to get some of my own lobster pots and a rainbow. Right. Carried on behind Trump's back, so he flipped on them. Israel may commit false flags in the US within 2 weeks. I think there's something strong trying to spelt wrong. Journalist, yeah, Khashoggi, or whatever his name was. But there's a lot going on in the background. So I don't want anyone to think in any way or form. Again, I'll go through some other bits and pieces in a minute. But everyone needs to understand that we are living in Soviet Britain, right? And you're not far away from the Gulag. And unless people start standing up against these people, it's as simple as that. I mean, I'm standing up. But if they bankrupt me through this case, because it's a crooked judiciary as well, and don't forget, when I say that, I am actually telling you, right, that Sir Stephen Sedley, who wrote Lions Under the Throne, right, a book, who was an appeals court judge, who I've met, and some of our members has met at the Selden Society lecture, right? He was the one with a flat cap on and a little scarf around him and a pair of glasses, little tiny fella. And when they all got in a cab and fucked off to their, great big meal, paid for with our fucking taxes, just to make sure you're all aware, he actually told everyone in his book that he was a communist. He said he stopped being a communist when the Soviets rolled their tanks into Czechoslovakia. Right? All I'm telling you is that's factual. So if he's one person who is a communist at the highest level in the judiciary, don't you think there's others? And I refer to House Rules of England and what it says about civil servants, and in effect, they're crown servants. It's the same thing. It's a very dangerous situation that you're in because they have infiltrated at every level. And there's no point in voting. Not in the sense that I mean. The only way you could do it is Ashby versus White 1703 and say we do not consent to this. Right? That's the only way you can do it. If you think you're going to stand up in an election and they're going to allow you to even get your deposit back, that's not the way it works. Right? There is no freedom of elections in the UK anymore. It's dead. But you still got to stand up. If you wish to send down to impersonation for all his hard work, send to Barclays Bank, blah, blah, blah. Juicy and Lucy, well done. Thank you for that. Let me go and check my account while I speak. I need to make sure that they can communicate with each other. So there's a lot of shit happening. I don't know. All I can do is do my best, right? So making sure you're aware of this. The person I am dealing with at the Royal Mails Legal is a partner in the firm, one of the biggest legal firms in the world, and he's a partner, right? They're given a rubber stamp to do as they please, and that's what you're seeing, right? And all I'm doing is trying to stand up for everyone to say, listen, we've got freedom of elections and you're shitting all over us. The juries are shareholders and investors with monetary interest. They have all been brought by the minions of the devil. Okay. Poor theatre for the history books. One big pure theatre for the history books. One big paedophile ring network. Money laundering, drug trafficking. Evil is deep and dirty. It is all our duty to get the toxic creatures exposed. Taffy Pat, that's what I absolutely believe. When I watched that video last night of a man with a working man with a 210 IQ, and he said, you can't serve two masters. You either serve God and the truth, or you serve them, and I refuse to serve them. That's it. You can't serve them people. Even fractionally serving them, and what I mean is anyone in the civil service, in local councils, right? You're not going to like what I'm going to say. You're all serving the devil. The devil is your master. The devil is paying your pension, right? And there's people out there in social services and were in social services. You fucking deserve everything you're going to get, right? I hope they take everything fucking off you. And as soon as you fucking, I'm a little bit ill. Oh, a bit depressed, that one. Nut her off. Nut him off, right? Oh, with a jab. Jibby jab. Bye. Right? Oh, we've saved our pension. That's exactly what they work as. They always knew that their socialist system weren't going to work. They just wanted to sucker you in. And they have. Exactly. And you'll get all these people out there, right? As soon as they if they ever get rid of any of these migrants, and the property prices start to ease off because they've created this artificial system, right? That's why I love the fact that I ain't got a gaff. I don't want one. I don't know. It just pulls you into their system. You know where they say like, yeah, but if it's just, I just think it's disgusting. Anyway, nope, and yet, let's have a look. I don't work for them at all. Kept Rangel, nor do I, son. I do not work for them. I work for you. And I work for God. I feel much better with myself. If you follow Jesus, right, you will not set a foot wrong. And I mean that. And Jesus was a Jew. He was a Jewish rabbi. Don't care what anyone says. I read that. It was in one of my books. Right, let's have a quick look. So everyone understand what's going on. Do you want me to go up a bit forward and do you want me to go back and show you how I started the video? I think you need to have a look at it, right? I'm absolutely sweating here. I haven't had a drink for so long. I mean, alcoholic drink. I've got water. But I'm actually feeling positive. What's that? Property ladder is to the gallows, DD. Yeah, I know. I just think people are fucking mental. Fucking mental. I'll tell the person who's had the best idea I've ever seen is Tim. Get in a boat, get on the ocean and fuck off. Just say, listen, I just need enough to live on. Food, sail the oceans, use that. Make sure you're generating enough electricity and just make sure who's ever with you that you're all 100% and you're living the lifestyle that you want to live. I'll be young. I'll save my ancestors and the gods in his land. I serve, yeah. DD are totally at the same. We're what's that? DD are totally am the same. We are all the new Jews whenever they like it or not. Then like with he's all night. Let's have a look. Do you want me to go through this again? Nightwood. New Age Templar. I'll pass this forward onto. What did New Age Templar say? My Bitcoin will go to the moon. Yep. When the pound drops to zero, EP70. Why are you on YouTube? Why are you on YouTube? You're supposed to be on Rumble. I don't know how many subscribers have we got on YouTube. I don't even look at it. I'll just go live on it now. If they take, they'll end up taking that account down, right? Because they hate me with vengeance. Simon Lacey, I'm Brian, and so is my wife. I don't know what that means. Juicy and Lucy, the case for a recount in Runcorn, and yeah, oh yeah. Don't forget as well, they have actually advertised it. Let me see if I can go and find that. The chances soon the pensions will be worth nothing. When they're let me say something, it's all going to go pear-shaped, and you'll see them all snivelling. Right, and the people that will be successful will be the people that have learnt fast, to learn to have nothing, to learn to use their brain to think for themselves, and stay away from the propaganda. They're the people just like you, right? A Life of Brian by Monty. Oh no, it's disgusting, isn't it? Let's have a look. Apparently 11 million UK mortgages are fraudulent anyway. They probably are. They probably are. Let me have a quick look this out. I'm trying to find this. Someone sent it. I can't think where they sent it. I don't want to show that one. Maybe it was that one. Legislation. I am looking for where it come up. See, this is where I'm getting. Google. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can bring this up. So I'll show you this one. I'll put that back down, and then I'll show you what they say their cost is. Right. And then you'll get all them nonsense people out there saying don't contract to me, and you say, oh, fuck off, will you? Whatever happens, I know I'm doing the right thing, right? But that's not the one. Let me have a look. Legal challenge. There it is. So it's in the Liverpool Echo. If anyone's watching this, legal challenge. Bids to overturn the Runcorn and Hillsbury by-election result amid impossible claim. Graham Moore came last, but says it's impossible. He got 50 votes, right? So they're trying to spin it that I've come last, right? This is, and by the way, this is nothing to do with sore losers. This is about a right. A High Court hearing is anticipated this week after the Runcorn and Hillsbury by-election result was contested by an unsuccessful candidate. Graham Moore, representing the English Constitution Party in the May the 1st election and finishing last with only 50 votes, has claimed that the count did not reflect his expected tally and is calling for the result to be annulled. The High Court allows individuals to request a judgment through petitioning the court. Moore has accused Royal Mail of affecting the election outcome by failing to deliver approved campaign leaflets, and Cheshire Police of harassing the ECP campaigners, alongside alleging police negligence regarding election interference, including the removal of an ECP Wikipedia page. His petition asserts the petitioner challenges the result of the said by-election on the grounds that the vote count was erroneous and or deliberately fraudulent, compounded by the Royal Mail's interference through non-delivery of pre-approved election communication leaflets, Cheshire Constabulary's harassment of ECP campaign, and the police failure to investigate election interference, including the removal of an ECP Wikipedia page. Mr. Moore also questions why his tally was 50 votes despite engaging in interviews in local live social media platforms with substantial followings, arguing that this amount of local social media support does not tally with 50 votes. Mr. Moore, a resident of Kent, so they're having a. So don't forget, I'm the leader of the English Constitution Party, and we've got no whips, right? And our manifesto is the English Constitution, right? Mr. Moore, a resident of Kent, also stated it was impossible that he should receive 50 votes twice, having also received exactly 50 votes when he previously stood for election in Tooting in 2016. The petition further stated the probability of receiving exactly 50 votes in two unrelated parliamentary elections 9 years apart in separate constituencies under councils controlled by mainstream parties, Labour and Conservative, protecting the status quo is not just strange but impossible. It continued, the interference disproportionately harmed candidates like the petitioner, who paid £500 deposit to stand, creating a chilling effect on passive democracy by discouraging non-mainstream candidates from participating, as only candidates with greater resources can overcome such obstacles. His petition demanded the election be declared void and for an independent recount of every individual ballot at a neutral location. Right? I think that's pretty fair. Tell me, do you think that's fair? That is what it says, by the way. Do you think that's fair? A spokesman for the Cheshire Police said, "We are aware of the petition by the English Constitution Party in relation to the recent by-election in Runcorn and Hillsby. As this is an ongoing legal matter, it would be inappropriate for us to comment further at this time. The by-election was initiated following the resignation of Labour Mike Amsbury after he was jailed for assault. What they don't say is he battered a constituent, got locked up, and the judiciary let him out on appeal, right? With reformed Sarah Potchin winning the vote. The hearing will, and they didn't say by 6 votes either. The hearing will take place this Friday by the King's Bench Division at the Royal Courts of Justice in London, right? That was last week that came out, right? So you're now getting, and then what you're going to get are all these militant Labour, right? I haven't even looked to see if there's any comments on this. They probably switched the comments off, which I imagine they have done, because they won't allow people to comment, right? Let me stop sharing that. So what did everyone think of that? Did you think that was, what did you think of what they said? Let me have a look. Give Graham a follow on X. Yeah, give me a follow on X. Chris Ossie, 5B5. Yes. Militia, 1688. Militia, Tracy Truism. I have to try and work out who was. Is Militia 1688 Tony? Well, if I said this before, I'm getting confused between two people. Janny, thank you for your support. Council Watchers, Liverpool and Cab. Not bad. Not bad report. Okay, really. Doing so. Well, at least they've advertised it. No one else is doing it. And what you're seeing now is they're literally trying to bankrupt me. So hopefully, I'm going to be Andy Gabby Cabbies, literally on Sunday evening. There's a few other ones I'm going on. Who's that? Liverpool and Cabby. Help. Passion to help. Janie, Liverpool. Okay, Janie, Liverpool. Well done. Council Watchers, Liverpool and Cabby. I think they help. Boots, ground, facing. We need as much. Again, I'm getting some reprints done of these leaflets to make sure the court is aware of what it is that the Royal Mail didn't want to send out. I'm getting some A3 ones done, so they're nice and big. We can say, well, we'd like it put on record what it actually says, right? And then I'll read it out in court, which is part of what you're going to see on the 25th of July, right? Which is the Criminal Justice Act 1988, Section 134, torture, and these officials have acquiesced and go through the thing and say that's what we're putting to people. There shouldn't be an inquiry. There's already evidence that they've done this, and Section 6 of that states this is a whole life sentence with no judicial discretion. And what people don't realise about that is if you make the application, the Attorney General can void it or nut it off, right? Which, by the way, they haven't told the international community that. And as soon as they do that, you take it universal jurisdiction, which the British agreed to in the United States of America. You've got a fucking administration that's begging you for the cases, right? Not doing it, are they? Try getting Jeff buys cars. Most are pretty clued up on that channel. It's not about me. It's about you writing to them, because otherwise I'll be sitting there writing emails to all these different channels. It's not about me. It's about you, the audience, doing it. And then if you keep mentioning why don't you get him on and have a chat, then we'll get there. Simon Lacey, we need to pray the Lord will bless us with some wealthy benefactors. Simon Lacey, we need to pray to the Lord that both our judges see our point of view and say it is our discretion whether there's any costs, right? This is about rights, not about rules. And the right of freedom of election is far and above the rules of the British CPR rules or election rules. Just making sure people are aware of that. And I will be putting a what I believe will be a strong case in defence of us bringing the case. There may be some of them judges. I've said this in the past. Judges have been waiting for people to put cases where they can help you, but they can't do it on their own. And if you're going to stand in front of them and say, "We demand you read your road, I'm a living man," right? They can't fucking help you. You have to put the real law to them. And that's why she said to me, "You need to put all of your authorities that you rely on," right? That's what we're doing now. Right, it's going to take me ages to go through it. I'm fighting 4 of them, not 1 of them. Right, it's no mean feat, I'll tell you. It should be free. Well, I could actually show you some bits on that. There was something else I was going to show you. My tooth hurts. Well, actually, the socket in my tooth in hurts. Let me have a look. Going to email to me tonight. She's going to email me tonight. Well done. And that's what we've got to try and do, get as many people helping us as we possibly can. What was the other thing? One could widely certain leaders accuse MPs of stoking fear and accurate. What is that one? I'll bring it up because Sandy has put it in there. I want to read that one. So we'll bring that one up as well. And then I will show you, I'll go back over it. So don't forget, sharing is caring. The more you share, the more you care, right? Don't forget, the only people getting this message out there is you, and I'm standing up for your rights, your constitutional and common law rights, right? What more could you want? Someone sent me something today, and it was another group of people on YouTube, and I said, listen, I don't want nothing to do with them, right? They're no good to no one. Give Graham a follow on X. Yeah, I need as much help as I can on there. You've got this, DD. Anyone can do it. You're the man. Well, again, I can only try my best, which is exactly what I will be doing. DD, of course, it's just. Even a dodgy judge can see that. I agree. But don't forget, in our past, dodgy judges have hanged people. Sounds like the mothership is near. Help us. Let's have a look and see what this is, because I want to look. I want to have a look. I'm going to read this out as it comes out. Right. Leaders accuse MP of stoking fear with inaccurate claims. Who's that? The Crime Commissioner Dan Price, top left, and Houghton councillors Andrea Wall and Mike Walton have taken aim at Runcorn MP, saying inaccurate claims about the town are stoking fear right? An extraordinary war of words has erupted between local leaders and Runcorn's new MP after they accused her of stoking fear and confusion about the town following a series of claims in the media and the Commons. In a strongly worded joint statement, Labour's Houghton Council leader, Councillor Mike Walton, Council Community Safety Chief Councillor Andrea Wall, and Cheshire Police and Crime Commissioner Dan Price, they all work together, said Reform MP Sarah Pochin has made a string of incorrect and critical outbursts about the town, but not provided evidence for any of them. But Mrs. Pochin has hit back, accusing them of arrogance and of dismissing local people's concerns. Really? Since taking office after her success in the May the 1st by-election, Mrs. Pochin has made a series of allegations, including that housing of multiple occupation HMOs in Runcorn are a hotbed for serious crime, drug dealing, trafficking, prostitution and grooming. She also claimed that people are frightened to go out of their houses because of the number of illegal immigrants in the area, and said that the town had a real problem with women's safety. Yet senior local leaders said they have no idea where Mrs. Pochin's information comes from. How about from the people? And called on her to retract her comments and report any crimes that she claimed to know about. You mean like we've just done? Councillor Walton said, it is unfortunate that we as local authority have to date never been approached for information by Mrs. Pochin. Our communities deserve factual information, and we are here to provide. They need a factual vote as well. We are here to provide it to them. Houghton Borough Council stand willing to provide factual information to Mrs. Pochin in order to assist her in her duties to advocate her for her and assist her constituents in Runcorn. Mrs. Pochin has also repeatedly stated that she's seen CCTV footage of alleged criminal activity apparently taking place near HMOs, such as drug dealing. But Labour Police and Crime Commissioner, fuck me, this gets worse, doesn't it? For the area, Mr. Price said there's been no such reports or evidence provided. He said, I simply don't recognise the picture that Sarah Pochin tries to paint of Runcorn. It's not based on reality. It fucking is. On several occasions, Mrs. Pochin has stated to have CCTV providing evidence of criminal activity. To date, no reports or evidence has been provided to Cheshire Police or to my office by Mrs. Pochin, despite the MP having had several opportunities to do so. Mrs. Pochin also claims that there has been a rise in the number of people seeking asylum moving into local social houses. There you go, right? Putting pressure on local services following the decision to close Daresbury Park Hotel, which had housed asylum seekers. So they're giving the houses to the asylum seekers. In this statement, they also denied this was the case. Councillor Andrea Wall, Executive Board Member for Community Safety, said the people who previously lived in the hotel had been moved to another region. Government officials, the reason why you've got all these Labour people there is because they're cheating in elections, right? Government officials also confirmed that there will be no further increase in asylum seekers' numbers in Houghton. This follows intensive work from Houghton Borough Council over several months, including lobbying the Home Office to stop using the hotel for asylum seekers' accommodation. Mrs. Pochin hit back saying, my constituents are raising serious concerns about the rise in HMOs housing asylum seekers. We've received first-hand accounts from those living next door, backed up by CCTV footage of late-night knife crime and drug crime, intimidating behaviour by gang members and unacceptable noise. Despite the PCC claiming to be unaware of this, which is in itself a concern, we have crime reference numbers from Cheshire Police. So have I, right? And they haven't acted on it, right? It's happening in our community. And if you live next door to one of these HMNs, it's a living nightmare. She added, Labour councillors' response, arrogance, dismissal and silence. Only some HMOs in Houghton house asylum seekers, with others housing a range of people, including those looking for affordable accommodation, which they're not going to get because they're giving it to the asylum seekers. The Home Office classed the people in Daylesbury Hotel as asylum seekers, not illegal immigrants, as their claims had yet to be processed. Right. So there you go. Thank you, Sandy, for sending that to me. Leaders to accuse MP of stoking fear with inaccurate claims. Residents with the WA postcodes won 10,000 the postcode lottery. Plans resurrected for 12-room former video store. Revised plans for key swing bridges repairs to significantly reduce disruption. Inquest opens after granddad dies in Cyprus, falling ill in a swimming pool. Meet the Widnes singer set to perform at one of UK's largest festivals. Houghton Business Awards. Severe delays on M56 after vehicle fire closes motorway. Pervy Cheshire police officer sexually assaulted 4 of his colleagues. What? They are Cheshire police again. Cheshire police officer sexually assaulted 4 of his colleagues. Michael Holmes grabbed one of the victim's bums, tried to grope another's breasts, and tried to kiss one of them. Right? A Cheshire police officer was told he was not the victim as he was sentenced for sexually assaulting 4 of his colleagues. Michael Holmes grabbed one of his victim's bums, tried to grope another's breasts, and tried to kiss one of them. He also pushed another one who was trying to stop his predatory behaviour. 34-year-old, who has a wife and 2 young children, appeared before Liverpool magistrates on Tuesday after pleading guilty to 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of common assault. He has already resigned from the force. Prosecuting Charlotte Brooks said that the majority of the offences took place in Manchester last year. Ms Brooks said how Holmes, who was a response officer in Widnes, grabbed the bum of one of the colleagues on 4 occasions. His predatory behaviour carried on as he tried to grope another woman's breasts. When another colleague tried to intervene, he pushed her, which is where the common assault was committed. The court heard how Holmes tried to kiss a 4th victim, but she pushed him away and then kissed her neck. After he left her, he texted one of the victims to tell him that he missed them. Following the reports, Holmes was arrested and immediately suspended from the force. The victims requested that their victim impact statements were left out, so will not be including them in the court report. Liverpool Crown Court was told how, following these incidents, one of the victims disclosed that Holmes had sexually assaulted her the previous year. Defending Holmes' solicitor said how his client wrote a letter to the court offering his heartfelt, sincere apologies to his victims and those impacted by his offending. It was heard how Holmes, who had previously served in the RAF, is described by his family as caring, respectful and loyal. He's fucking always the RAF. His solicitor said a job as a police officer was stressful and high pressure. Oh, fuck off. To which the judge replied, "It is indeed, but that does not make you put your hands on a woman." Concluding, the judge said, "You were a serving police officer, you knew how to behave, and that was and what was acceptable and unacceptable. The previous year, you had sexually touched one of these victims, so no one can say it was a moment of madness. It was repeated behaviour. These women expected to be seen as valued human beings by you, not objects. I am told that you are remorseful and that you have reassessed your relationship with alcohol. You are absolutely not the victim here, and I'm afraid there is an element of self-pity." Holmes received an 8-month prison sentence, suspended for 18 months. Fucking hell. He must complete 20 rehabilitation activity requirement days, 100 hours of unpaid work, and 120 alcohol abstinence monitoring requirement. The court also ordered Holmes to pay £250 compensation to each of his victims, and a 10-year restraining order was made against each of them. Following the sentencing, Superintendent Simon Parsonage, head of the Professional Standards Department at Cheshire Constabulary, said, "Firstly, I would like to praise the courage and bravery of the victims. and I hope that the conclusion of this case will provide them with some closure. As a serving officer, Holmes held a position of trust and swore an oath in which he promised to abide by clear guidelines about the standards expected from him. Sadly, he chose to ignore these. His actions were totally unacceptable and fell well below the standards we expect from our officers. While Holmes pleaded guilty and has now resigned from the force, that does not in any way excuse his behaviour, and I hope that the outcome of this case reassures the public by demonstrating that nobody is above the law. Fuck off. No matter what position they hold. What a load of bollocks. Following the conclusion of the criminal proceedings, a misconduct hearing will now be held, and Holmes faces the prospect of being added to the police barred list. Oh, a load of bollocks. Anyway, there it is. So we are now going back to what they're trying to do to me, right? So I'm going to play this back up, put this back on my screen and explain to the earlier people who missed it. Let me have a quick look and see if I can find it. I've put the information. Let's have a look. Grifty, the Griff report on X. White people listen up. Islam is taking over and there is nothing you can do. Yep. Right, I am going to show this once more, just to make sure that you all get what's going on. So when I was at court, or we was all at court, and this is why the 25th of July is really important for people to come along, because they are attempting to crucify me, right, as a leader of the English Constitution Party and a president of the English Constitution Society. They was asked by the judge to give us, and the judge told me, you do realise that the £5,000 deposit that you've already paid is just basically a down payment. And I said, yeah, I'm fully aware of the risk, which I am. All right, so one of the respondents, and there's 4 respondents, as up until the point of the 25th of July, this is an estimate, right? They're telling us what the costs are so far in part 1. And then they're telling us what the costs are on part 2, which is the strikeout petition. And then they intend to hit us for the full cost of a hearing in Runcorn, right? So part 1, costs incurred to the 19th of June 2025. Time costs, 33, this is one respondent, right? This is the Royal Mail. 33,559.40. Disbursements, that's sending a letter, 9,510.70. Total incurred cost part 1, £43,070.10. Right. Part 2, costs incurred from the 20th of June today, 2025, up to and including the hearing of the first respondent's application to strike out. Time cost, £18,649. Disbursements, £5,663. Total estimated cost part 2, £24,212. Total part 1 and 2, £67,282.10. Plus private, 32.5% VAT. Grand total, first respondent is unable to recover the VAT, so they're smacking you in the mouth with it. Grand total, £71,628.43. That's an estimate. It's more likely going to be £100,000 or maybe more. You've got that off of each of the respondents, and there's 4 respondents. And then you have, when we're successful, we've got the actual hearing costs, right, which will be somewhere in the region of £500,000, right, for the full trial, for the travel to the court, to set up the court, to do all of that, right? So you're talking about £900,000 to £1 million that they intend to hit me with costs for if I lose this case. And if I lose against any of them, and don't forget, this is 2 High Court judges, not a jury, right? This is 2 High Court judges, not a jury. So Soros has been subpoenaed by Congress. Really? When was that? All right. Is everyone understanding what I've just put on the screen? can you put a tax on sending letters? Well, that's what they do. They say that they've got value add because they're valuable people, that they add value to society, lawyers and solicitors, and therefore there is a claimable VAT part. I would add that, in my opinion, that if you are attempting to destroy someone's rights, there is no value add in that. Anyway, how much has been raised for the case so far? Well, I put the £5,000 in, and I'm starting to recover that, but I haven't recovered it fully. And then we've paid for the application and the other bits, so we haven't covered our own costs yet, but even of the deposit. But so far, you've got 2,045 raised, and it's still at £2,045 raised. And I think it's now gone up to, the goal is 26,000 is the goal, but the total is going to be somewhere like £1 million. But what happens is the media suppress it, the government suppress it with 77th Brigade, so no one gets the message out. That's why I rely on you to get the message out. And therefore you're never going to get anywhere. If this is something that they agreed with, it'd be promoted on Sky News, there's this happening, or ITV News, or the BBC, etc. But none of them are doing that. And the reason they're not is because they're trying to suppress it, so you don't raise the cost. So the media, and that means alternative media, not all, but the majority of the alternative, so-called alternative media, and the mainstream media are complicit in destroying your rights. Robbie Young, those costs are unjust, ridiculous. No, but listen, I've put it on your screen. I'm showing you exactly what they've sent me. No alterations whatsoever, right? They've now started sending stuff through to me so I can actually work on saying, but I'm going to be sitting there with my head down. I did send to Jimmy just to, when I met, so Jimmy, Irish Jimmy, who's actually a Londoner, and who's very helpful and comes to London with me and helps me out on certain things. He asked me some weeks ago, there was a thing that I use, and it's a free service, except if you use some elements of it. I've got a week's free trial with it again, and I'm going to be making the most of that. So I've got full functional use of it. It's about the cheapest. So Lexis, Plexus, and some other group, I can't remember what they're called. They've got this big, massive database of all legal cases, etc. And you've obviously got access to Bally. It's not as good as the system they use, but it's a lot cheaper. It's about £100 a month, and I'm possibly going to have to use that to get everything. So when I present, what it also does is it will look at what you've written, and then say, from what we can see of that case, have you looked at this one, and this one, and then it stops you from forgetting what they are. Got a refund from Close Brothers calls. They caught the numbers a red stress and inconvenience payment. I don't know what that is. Losing this battle is not an option. No, it isn't an option. And again, Carol Murph paid $12,000 for a car. Who did? Can't be a bit of transparency. We are transparent. They are not, so we see full forensic audit for that. I tell you what, I'd like to see what the judges say. They'll just go, well, that's just a high court case, isn't it? That's what you expect. I ain't going to see my arguments. But when we kick it, and I've got to get it in. I've got to get all our arguments in, if I remember rightly, by the 8th of July. There is a way around it, and I trust you'll find it. Daylight robbery, they should be arrested for that statement alone. Robbie Young, listen, all I'm doing is, I don't want to dishearten people. I'm just showing you what you're up against, right? You are up against a communist regime, right? an oligarch of ruling class, and the people that is directly affected is working class people. And all I do is stand up for you, nothing more, nothing less, right? And when people like Tommy Robinson have got British barristers and they're paying, and he's paying them that, and he's getting whatever he's getting out of it as well, they're not there to support his rights, right? Don't forget he's got an Irish passport. They're not there to support his rights, right? And I just want everyone to understand that. We fully support your rights. Daddy Drake's in the Full English Show website. VAT is 20%. What's all this 32%? Not for that type of cert. The first respondent is unable to recover 32% of the VAT as input set. Whether they say 32% of, so there's some elements that they can claim back and there's others that they can't. And by the way, just to make sure you're all clear of this, right? It's they pay for these legal services at your taxes, right? That's exactly what's going on. Just to make sure you are aware of it. That's it. So I've now took that off the screen. I've gone back to my normal screen. Is there any questions from this wonderful audience? And don't forget to hit the like button, right? Hit the like button. That's crucial. Subscribe to this channel. And do help me to get more subscribers. We're on our way up. But let me have a quick look and see if I can hit that like button, right? We need to be, so if you're watching on catch up, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're watching, tomorrow, hit the like button. Just make sure everyone understands what's going on here. I'm now going to retire for the evening. I've tried. I took some photos of my 3Ps. Do you want to see this? Do you want to see it? See if one of you lot might want it. But how are you going to get it to you from here? I don't know. And I can't help you down the stairs with it. So do you want to see what this is? And I think it's worth 250 quid. That's what I'm putting it up for. And it just helps with the move costs. Let me have a quick look. Let's have a look. Stay focused, people. Eyes on via the revival of America. Iran just blew up the Israeli stock exchange building in Tel Aviv. Can we get a leaflet made up to share for the people to print it out for themselves and start handing it out all over UK? That's it. I'm going to say good night, God bless. I'm going to say to everyone, I will see you Monday evening. I am going to attempt to try and put this stuff on eBay. For some reason, it's not allowing me to go on eBay and sell something. It's asking for a load of details and ID and all sorts of shit, right? But I've never had it happen before. I don't know why it's doing it. But remember what I believe. The Constitution is the solution, right? This case is a constitutional case about freedom of elections, and I can only promise you I will try and deliver it the best way I can in the High Court on the 25th of July. And we need prayers big time, and we need people to understand what it is that we're doing. That's it. I am now going to say good night, God bless to everyone. Keep the faith in the English system, that we rout this communist system off our lands and we go back to being England. That's it. Good night. God bless.